Learning from the Prince of Liechtenstein. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I cannot grow rice here in Liechtenstein. It's too cold.
If you're new here, I'm Kara and this is my husband Nate. We've been traveling the world full-time for the last 3.5 years and we are getting so close to reaching our goal of visiting 100 countries. After spending a week exploring our 92nd country of Switzerland, today we are traveling to country number 93, Liechtenstein. If you can't place it on a map, you probably aren't alone. Liechtenstein is a microstate measuring only 13 kilometers across and 25 kilometers from top to bottom, and it's sandwiched between Switzerland and Austria.
So last night we stayed in the beautiful Swiss town of Sargans because it's pretty much the last train stop before you get to Liechtenstein. So this morning we are heading to the bus stop to catch a bus to cross the border.
Oh my gosh.
It's broken.
That wasn't part of the plan today. It's completely cracked, but I think it's just the little cover that we have on it and not the actual lens. But now it's like bent and so we're having a hard time, or Nate is having a hard time getting it off. Bus is coming.
Hey, they got flags on it. We didn't see a sign, but according to Google Maps, we have just entered our 93rd country. Ah! So when the lens fell, this UV filter that we have on here cracked, but it also bent, like this metal bent, and so we haven't been able to get it off. So now we're just trying to break the...
Is it gonna survive?
From an external perspective, it looks fine. Is it working?
I think so.
Am I in focus?
Yeah.
Zoom still works.
Yeah.
Still working?
Yeah.
Still working?
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Let's go celebrate now.
Today's gonna be so much more fun. So the reason we're excited to be here today is because today is their National Day. So there should be lots of fun festivities happening. The first one being at the Prince's Castle, which is on top of this mountain. We have to hurry. It is quite the hike to this castle. It means I'm gonna get to eat more cheese. We're also not alone. There are lots of other people heading up to the castle.
I'm feeling like we may be underdressed for the occasion. That lady was hiking up in high heels. That is dedication. She must have wanted to look good for the prince.
Wow, there are so many people.
We're not sure what's about to happen, but I read online that the prince makes an appearance at 11:30, so I think that might be what everybody's waiting for.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests from around the world, welcome at the 2019 Liechtenstein National Day celebrations.
Okay, so a long line of important looking people just marched out of the castle and down here to the field where everybody is. They were playing trumpets, everybody was clapping. I think one of them has to be the prince, but I don't know which one. You'd think it would be obvious.
Das 300-jährige Bestehen unseres Landes gibt dem heutigen Staatsfeiertag eine besondere Bedeutung.
So Liechtenstein is a constitutional monarchy, which means that it's ruled by a royal family who I believe actually lives in this castle behind me. And when I started researching National Day, the reason I was so excited to come is because I had heard that the prince opens the castle once per year on National Day and he invites everybody into the garden for a big party. Unfortunately, I think word of this big free party in the castle spread, and so now you actually need a ticket to be able to get into the garden. When I tried to obtain one of those tickets online before we came, I learned that the prince actually sent out a decree that you have to be a citizen of Liechtenstein in order to get a ticket. Something about him being able to spend more time mingling with his subjects. I'm being serious, it actually says something like that on the internet. So even though we can't get into the garden, there's still a party for everybody else here on the lawn of the castle, which isn't a bad backup plan.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Apparently, everything is free on National Day. We're literally having a party at the Prince's Castle in Liechtenstein for free. We came down to these tents to get some drinks and snacks, all free. And there's more where this came from. I don't even like beer, but it's free. We're at the Prince's house. Now I'm less offended that we weren't allowed in the garden.
Can you imagine being a prince and just being like, the beer flows for the people?
Am I in the video?
This is crazy. So if you stand up on top of the hill, you can actually see down into the garden where everyone is mingling with royalty.
There's just one small wall separating us all. We're all the same.
I feel like this is like a set for a movie or something.
It really feels like it.
Like we're just slightly stuck outside of the castle walls.
Just English. Just English.
Me too.
You too.
I'm from Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yes.
Do you know what Tennessee?
Yes, I've been there too. YouTube channel?
Yes.
Cheers.
Yeah. Why not? Whatever channel. Yes.
Thank you for having us in
Yeah.
your yard. It's
I'm
beautiful.
quite often in the United States. I used to be more often. I developed with a team hybrid rice seed. And if you eat rice in the United States, there is more than a 60% chance that the seed comes from us.
Oh, well, thank you.
Texas.
Who knew? Learning from the Prince of Liechtenstein. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Unfortunately, I cannot grow rice here in Liechtenstein. It's too cold.
There you have it. If you eat rice in the United States, you have the Prince of Liechtenstein to thank for it. That was like everybody was sitting there like trying to get like 2 seconds with him, and then he took 5 minutes to tell you about rice in the United States. I like him a lot.
I do too. I thought he'd probably be in his castle like waving down at everyone like, here I am, you know, and like never even come outside.
He's a prince of the
Much
people.
less to this side.
He's a prince of the people.
A prince of the people.
Hey, what are you doing here?
We came for National Day.
We have to talk to the prince. You managed? Yes, he's my boss.
Is it really?
Really? Oh, my country. Bye. Ciao.
The prince's secretary watches our videos.
What are the chances? Sylvia, I'm so glad she came and said hello.
She said she was working the ticket gate at the garden and she would have let us in.
We should have tried to sneak in. Oh, but then she would have known that we were liars.
But it's starting to rain now. Party at the castle is winding down and we're gonna make our way into town because we hear that's where the party continues. Unfortunately, everything in town does have prices. I was hoping just like everything in Liechtenstein was free for the day, but I think it was just up at the castle.
Pasta, lovely. I bet we walked by at least 100 food stands that I would eat at right now. It all looks so good. I have no idea how we're gonna choose.
Binnen komt en dan ga je eens naar het
We have made our decision. From the looks of all of the food trucks here, it seems like Liechtenstein's cuisine just has a little bit of everything, like all the surrounding countries. And we felt like since we're leaving this part of the world tomorrow, we needed to have one last cheesy meal. So I got raclette, which is just this beautiful melted cheese on top of this piece of bread. Topped with some paprika and some In addition to everything at the castle being free, the 2 museums in the middle of the town are also free. So we're doing something that we wouldn't normally do. Plus it's raining outside. We started in the postcard museum. What are these?
Seems very random for such a tiny country. Oh, that was about as exciting as it sounded like it was going to be. And now we're in the National Museum, which is interesting.
I'm so happy we came to Liechtenstein! We almost canceled this whole trip.
It was supposed to be raining like it is now all day, and since we only have one day here, we were like, and then we met the Prince.
It was sunny and beautiful all morning.
There's still a fireworks show that's going on at 10 o'clock, but that would require us waiting in the rain for 3.5 hours, so we for sure hit the climax when we were hanging out with the Prince at the castle.
And I'm a father.
Okay, so the reason that we are in Liechtenstein, right? So the reason that, well, somebody just did a really long speech.
Not did a really long speech. Made. Gave. Do you do a speech? You don't do a speech.
Whatever.
I agree. I think you can make a speech, but I think you give a speech is like the most right it can be. Okay. Even though we can't get into the garden, the Prince has been kind enough to throw a party for the peasants on the lawn. I'm totally joking.
I bet you're gonna.
Without our seed, you would not be that competitive on the international markets because our rice seed provides higher yields, more resistance against diseases. You need less chemicals with the hybrids, which hybrids we got. It's also very good for the environment.
Yeah, it sounds like it.